Replicators in Star Trek are cool, but what are they? A replicator is a handy-dandy piece of technology that can basically create anything instantly. Of course, these are not to be confused with the replicators from Stargate, who are super powerful beings entirely made up of nanites and make the Borg look like a AAA battery. Replicators can create clothing and technology, but are mostly used to create food. Basically, the replicator converts energy into matter. Worried about all the dirty dishes it creates? Well, fear not, because all you need to do is simply put them back and they'll be reabsorbed. I'll tell you, the first thing I would do if I had a replicator would be to program in the recipe for McCain's Pizza Pockets and then compare the replicated ones with the real ones and see which one was better. And if I'm being truthful about my past, Pizza Pockets were my go-to Trek food before I became a little more health conscious. And speaking of health, replicators can make unhealthy foods healthy, or at least relatively healthy. Just ask Counselor Troy, who had to be very specific with the computer about her real chocolate sundae needs. As awesome as replicators are, they do have some limits. For one thing, there's certain things they can't replicate, such as latinum, and for another thing, they are limited by their available power. In Voyager, crew members often had to use replicator rations as a way of conserving power, given that they were far from home and couldn't necessarily refuel. This meant that crew members would sometimes have to indulge in Neelix's famous Leola root stew. Of course, there are also imposed limits. Starfleet replicators can't create uniforms for civilians, much to Neelix's dismay, or create poisons. When it comes to replicators, you have everything from the smaller food and beverage ones all the way to the big industrial boys. And replicators are also everywhere, such as crew quarters, transport rooms, command centers, homes, bars, restaurants, and even holodecks. Replicators are mostly seen in the TNG era series and later. TOS uses a food synthesizer, which appears to be a much more primitive version of the replicator, but the ones we see in Discovery and Strange New Worlds seem to be full-on replicators.